Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's episode, we are going to be going over
Final Girls.
Yeah. Me and Jake decided, last minute, of course, because that's how this podcast works for us.
Always.
That we would get together today and write down on pieces of paper ourselves our top 5 Final Girls. We have not discussed this prior. We don't know what each other has written down on this list. So, yeah.
It should be very interesting.
It should be very interesting.
All right. You want to start or me start?
I like when you start, bud.
I'll start.
We're going to start from 5
Up to 1.
up to 1.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So,
I already know my 5. I've had the reference for the
I
rest
have
of it.
my reference right here, too.
So I know number 5.
Okay.
Top Final Girl of all time. It's actually a combination of 2. It is.
Whoa.
I know.
Combination of
So
2.
technically 6. But number 5 is Gale Weathers and Sidney Prescott.
Really?
Yeah.
They made your top 5
Yeah. As a tandem.
as a
obviously.
tandem
Yeah.
because you don't see them as separate.
No, because they both last all 5 movies. Correct?
Yeah.
All right.
That's very true.
Yeah.
A lot of people only count Sidney Prescott.
Which is crazy to me because Gale is a key component
Yeah. Gale
of every movie.
Gale Weathers gets no love in the horror community.
You're getting love.
Other
from
than
me.
her really shitty haircut in Scream 3.
Oh, those bangs?
The bangs, man.
The bangs are rough.
Bangs.
But yeah, she's a key component of all the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The killer does come after her. She does fight the killer off.
She's also been shot multiple times, beat up multiple times, thought she saw her boyfriend die. I mean, to be completely honest with you, if you were to go off of who had it worse in the Scream movies, I dare say Gale Weathers had it worse than Sidney Prescott.
Yeah, it's definitely tight between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Sydney's had her issue with her friends being killed, her boyfriend being a killer, but Gale's been through hers as well. So that's why the two of them are number 5.
But she's also money hungry and really just wants a story.
This isn't about personality traits.
But I think that's why she's excluded from so many people's lists.
That could be it, yeah.
Because you're right. If you're going to consider Sidney Prescott
Yeah,
a final girl,
yeah.
you should technically consider Gale Weathers. So, to me, that
Yeah.
counts as your number 5. I won't say you went into that 6th realm because they are both one and the
Yeah,
same.
5A, 5B.
Yeah, 5.
All right. You're number 5.
My number 5
Okay.
is Danny from Midsommar.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought that her character arc in the movie was pretty amazing.
Okay.
I know she's not really like being attacked per se,
No, she's not.
but I love her. I think that the start of her being like super depressed and feeling alone, and then finding that empowerment throughout the movie, and then
Okay. So
killing her boyfriend.
is it her character arc that makes her a top final girl to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's my one on the list that doesn't survive per se. She just thrived. I have a thriver on there, not a survivor.
Okay. I mean, thriving is surviving. So
Thriving could be considered surviving, but that is my number 5.
okay. All right. I'll take it. Midsommar also very good movie.
Yeah, it should be talked about a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those like super. Would that be what do they call it in Scream? What did she call it?
Highbrow horror movies.
Highbrow horror
Yeah.
movies. Yes. I'm a big fan of the highbrow horror stuff.
I'm not.
He is not, but I think Midsommar is. We can both agree
Yeah.
one of the top, if not the top, of new modern horror.
I'll agree. Yeah.
What'd you
I'll
say?
agree. Yeah. I agree.
That's why I had to put my girl Danny in the top 5.
Okay. So now, number 4 is Laurie Strode.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Okay. Okay.
Now I know.
Why, Laurie Strode? Why are you doing my girl Laurie so dirty?
On many people's list,
she's number one.
They consider her one or two.
Yeah.
Usually her or Sydney.
Yeah, it's usually a toss-up between...
top two.
Yeah.
My reasoning behind it is she's one of the... If there's like a founding fathers, she's one of the founding final girls.
She's the founding mother.
Which is cool. I get that. But throughout the Halloween franchise...
Ooh, that's where you're going with it.
She's all over. Oh, she also dies in one of the movies, and so I'm not honestly we're going to just discount all of them post 1978. No, they all count. She's good in the original.
Great.
She's in the bed most of the time in part 2.
Yeah.
And then she comes back.
Part 4.
I think she's in like they said either she died or she went away in part 4. Mm-hmm. Then she came back in, was it H2O, and dies in Resurrection. It's too much for me.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like there's no real connection with her and Michael.
Yeah.
So the fact that the franchise has been so much about her, I don't understand.
I think it's because she's so willing to come back.
Yeah, true. But the character Laurie Strode...
Yeah. Not your top 3.
She's just a
she didn't even make the top 3 cut.
She's just a baby.
So if we would have just done top 3, I wouldn't even heard Laurie Strode out of your mouth.
No, you wouldn't have.
That blows my mind.
Or Sidney Prescott.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But not to take away from the character of Laurie Strode.
Not at all. We're talking about your opinion on Final Girl.
Even in the new
Halloween Kills.
That and 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're taking their route and dismissing everything post 1978, I dislike the character even more.
Really?
Yeah. Why are you hung up on the dude from 40 years ago?
Because it was a traumatic experience.
Okay.
Also, I just want to use you against you real quick.
Sure.
Because because when we were doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, I mentioned that about her. And you said that it made sense. It made more sense for her than it did Laurie Strode.
Yeah, because they killed her friends.
They killed Laurie's friends.
And her brother.
Oh, wow. Brother. Woo.
Yeah. Her
that
blood.
Handicap guy?
Yeah. Her blood relative.
You know, that would be hard on anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think Laurie Strode went through more.
Well, like two friends and one of her friends' boyfriend. Who cares about that?
2 friends and then some hospital people. Yeah, well, no, I guess no. In the new line of movies, all she lost was like a couple friends.
Yeah. So to be hung up on it for 40 years?
But I think you would be pretty hung up if you lost PJ Souls. I think you would. It would haunt you for 40 years.
Well, we have memories together.
I'm still trying to use you against you over here.
So number 4, Laurie Strode.
All right. Check my cheat sheet here.
Okay.
My number 4 is Mia Allen from the Evil Dead remake.
Okay. Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Top final girl though?
Yeah.
Based on? You want to tell them now or?
I had a thing. I had a thing in my nose going on. The fact that it's kind of that character arc thing again.
You're hung up on character arcs.
I know. I am tonight. I am. I've been thinking about it.
Very unlike you to be hung up on character arcs in
horror
movies.
Yeah, I know. I'm just spicing things up a bit over here. They go to that cabin because of her trying to get through a drug problem or an addiction problem, whatever it may be. In this movie, it is drug, and she gets through that craziness.
Okay,
and then just sometimes, I think final girls have to go through, something super traumatic. And, Laurie Strode got stabbed in the arm, I think. In the first one, she got cut in the arm.
Yeah, grazed.
Which, never mind. And, dude, when she has to rip her own arm off.
Yeah.
to survive. Like in Evil Dead with Ash, like he just has to cut his hand off.
Which is still pretty intense.
Yeah, but ripping your arm off, and then she has that epic fight with the demon and the blood rain and all that stuff. Like it was pretty cool, man. I think that. It was. I just think that in the broad final girl argument, that she definitely deserves a spot in the top 5, and that she made mine on the list at number 4, mainly because of her badassness, her toughness,
well, I
and
guess
her arc.
Being a badass can get you in the top 5. So.
Yeah, she's one of the most badass.
Okay, all right.
As far as like epic badassery,
she's one of them.
One of them.
Not the top.
Not the top. We're not even there yet.
She's one of them.
She's one of them.
All right.
So you're not a big fan of that one?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the movie's great.
Just not as a final girl.
Not top 5. No.
Why do you dislike her so much?
I just feel like
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you
sucker.
are. I don't know. It's just something about her character.
I can tell you what it is right now.
What is it?
You haven't watched it enough.
That could be it.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
I've seen it once.
I've only seen it a handful of times, but I've definitely seen it more than you.
Yeah.
The more you watch that movie,
Okay.
the more you realize like how epic she truly is.
Okay.
And the thing about Final Girl list that I've noticed is it's always these long running ones that you've been seeing in these different movies for upwards of 50 years, which is fine. I'm not discrediting the originals.
Sounds like it.
No, I'm not. But they're beat into your head.
Yeah.
So immediately when you do a same day top 5, more than likely most of yours are going to be pre 80s or
no
80s.
They're not.
Most of them will. I'm just saying, in my head, for a fan like you, I think the majority of your list will be pre 90s. Will be all pre-90s.
Well, I got it. Yeah, okay. All right.
Because they've been beat into your head and you've watched them so much.
Or because they're just better Final Girls.
They could be, but you haven't given some of these new Final Girls a chance.
I will rewatch the new Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And we'll see if my opinion changes.
That'll be good. That'll make me feel better on my top 5 list. All right, so hit me with your number 3.
Number 3 is Nancy Thompson. Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. So yeah, even though he said right before this are all pre-90s, yeah, so what is this? Now.
We haven't gotten to the end yet, so you just slipped up a little bit.
So, although technically, Heather Langenkamp plays Nancy Thompson slightly in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is also in the 90s. Never mind. Okay, yeah. Point is.
They started pre-90s.
Yeah.
I don't care how far they went.
Okay, well, yeah, it's also in the 90s. But yeah, so I like the fact that in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, she defeats Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Which is using her mind and her inner strength to say, I don't have to be afraid of you.
Yeah.
She puts up a good fight. She has traps and plans, tries to save her friends, does everything in the first one. She comes back in Dream Warriors. It's part 3 of Dream Warriors.
Part 3.
As, I guess, a doctor or someone.
She was a sleep specialist, I'm pretty sure.
Sure. To help out other people who were also fighting Freddy Krueger.
Which I got to give Nightmare on Elm Street credit. Because most of the times, like, the final girl is the main, like, focal point.
Yeah.
In the sequels.
Yeah, I mean, they kill her in part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that they just, like, in Dream Warriors, it's about those kids.
Yeah.
And then she's just there to help.
To assist, yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool, in my opinion, newer at the time, way to... I mean, it's hard to argue you on having her in the top 5 because of that. Like, she's a badass.
Yeah, and then
she is so tough.
And then to end it in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where she is Heather Langenkamp, but also has to play Nancy towards the end. She beats Freddy, or the entity known as Freddy, again.
Yeah, dude.
So she beats the same villain in the franchise twice.
Is there any other final girl in the slasher series that actually beats their person other than Nancy?
I mean, technically, Sidney Prescott does.
I always forget that.
She beats the different Ghostfaces.
Yeah, she always beats the different Ghostfaces.
Yeah.
That one's different because it's like different. They're actual people.
True. But
so monster-wise, I think Nancy, Heather Langenkamp.
Only one I can think of right now.
It's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. But for Nancy to beat them twice, number 3, Nancy Thompson.
I love it, man. Let's see what my number 3 is.
Okay.
Let me check my handy dandy notebook paper here. That's great. All right, buddy.
All right.
My number 3 is this young lady you might have never heard of.
Okay.
Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode made my top 3.
Okay. Well, that's a given.
Yeah, Halloween is my favorite horror franchise. I love that she was used in the new ones. I love that she always puts up a decent fight. She's no Nancy when it comes to the fighting aspect.
No, she is not.
No, but she's
not even a Sidney Prescott. But go ahead.
She was the first final girl I ever remembered. A lot of people. And I hope that they do it well with Halloween Ends. They've kind of shit the bed with 2018 wasn't so bad. I know we were watching something earlier where somebody was kind of hating on the Laurie Strode in 2018. I didn't mind the Laurie Strode in 2018. If you can get past the part that like you don't like the fact that she's been obsessed for 40 years,
which is the basis of her character.
I understand it though.
How?
Because I imagine if I went through something that traumatic and the guy was like basically right around the corner, like I would probably do something similar.
He's not after you though. He's not even thinking about you.
It's not an after you thing. It's the fact that I've never been through something that traumatic, so like I don't want to like speak on behalf of it, but like I think knowing myself, I would be very Laurie Strode-esque in hopefully because I think if he didn't escape the first time and then come after her for no reason, like the fear of him escaping again wouldn't be as prevalent, but because he did in the original one, and then like the potential of him escaping, like that shit would always be on my mind too. But that she doesn't just sit there and sulk, and she doesn't just sit there and like whine about it. Like, yeah, she ruined like her family, and she definitely chose preparation for dealing with something that she only dealt with once. I can get why that's annoying to people.
With something that may not ever happen again.
May not, but that's not the point. She prepped right. She had a great booby trap system, even though you swear it fails. I swear it works. If the firefighters didn't show up, that door would have gotten hot enough to melt them.
If the point of the house was to kill Michael Myers,
I know.
It would have done that. That door saved him. That door wouldn't have melted to kill him.
I don't know like temperature ratings of metal doors, but I do like Laurie Strode a lot. I think that she, the fact that she in the first one put the kids first was always cool.
Yeah,
like I love that she's a very, which is weird because like
she's a babysitter. That's her job.
Yeah, but I just like put 2 and 2 together at like the kind of like they kind of failed Laurie Strode in 2018 because if she put random kids first and then she wasn't a good mother. It's kind of confusing. But in her head, she was being a good mother to protect her child. I don't know. Laurie Strode comes in at number 3 for me because she's a badass and she's done it so long.
Okay. All right. So my number 2, if my more recent movie, number 2 will be Aaron from You're Next. So we talked earlier about someone being a badass.
Yeah.
Dude. Aaron, badass. Just her training, the way she was dismantling the killers.
Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of that movie.
No one could compete with her. So, you're not a fan of the movie. Why not? That's right. You said it's like
it came out too close to Strangers.
It's not the same at all.
It's not the same, but it's very similar.
So when I think of The Strangers, I think of the movie Vacancy.
Yeah. Okay.
You're Next is more like, when I think of You're Next, I think of, what's the movie with the the movie with the hide and seek game?
Ready or Not?
Yeah, I think of that.
Not in You're Next.
When I think of You're Next, to me it visually kind of looks the same. and just the premise of
I can give you that.
a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to me that's even more similar. But dude, the kills that she had in that movie, top notch.
Yeah. She was that blender
Yeah,
to the dome.
she had things. The one that got me was when she saw them coming, and she hopped out of the house out of one window, then hopped right back in through a different window.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she's already thinking 2 steps ahead of them.
Yeah, like I told you I would do in certain situations. You're like, no one does that.
Sure, except for Aaron. So she's a trained survivalist.
Yeah.
She has the tools. She utilizes the tools.
Is she actually a trained survivalist?
Yeah,
Like, is that told in her backstory?
yeah.
No.
At least she said like her dad like trained her.
Better than Laurie Strode did for her daughter.
100%. 100%. I feel like whatever training Aaron's dad put her through, her dad should also put Laurie Strode through,
Yeah.
so she could put her daughter through.
Yeah. That's a solid number.
Karen.
That's a solid number 2.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. So I'm sure it shocked many people that I chose a more recent movie, but
So I
yeah,
was wrong. I
Yeah.
said your list was all sub 90s.
yeah. But number 1 is in the 80s. So
Of course it is. All right. This was bound to happen.
Okay.
That we would have some similar ones. Not that this is the same one that you just said.
Okay.
But my number 2 is Sidney Prescott now / Gale Weathers.
You are welcome for adding Gale Weathers, guys.
Yes, I do love the fact that he puts Gale Weathers with it. Sidney Prescott, to me, was because of my age when Screams came out. I loved. Sorry about the jet noise, guys.
The sound of freedom.
Sound of freedom. I just she always beat the each different person. They were all after her for different reasons. Her backstory wasn't half bad. Now that you brought it to my attention, she always had help of a couple of friends.
Yeah.
Gail was always there right by her side.
She can't do it on her own.
She can't, and that it kind of makes me wonder if I would keep her at number 2. Thinking that because I went into it very surface level when I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I keep her at number 2 because even in the new one, like she can take a stab to the gut like nobody else.
Oh, like Gale Weathers can.
Yeah. Well, Gail gets shot.
She's been stabbed.
Gail's never been stabbed.
Ever?
She's only been shot.
She was stabbed.
Which one?
One of them.
I'm pretty sure she got shot in the first one. She
Boom.
disappeared off camera for a while, and then she came in and finished them all.
She got stabbed in part 5.
No, she got shot
She didn't
right
get
out the gate.
She didn't get stabbed?
No, remember she's like the little girl scream
Part 4.
comes out and she's like, "Oh my god,
Part
help
3.
me!" And they look at each other like, "Nah." And
She got shot then?
Bam, boom, right in the hip. Like she's always been shot in the hip because in part 3 or 2, is that the one where it's his mom?
No, part 2.
Yeah, she gets shot off the stage and just like
Sure,
falls down into the orchestra pit, and she just takes her a nice Gale Weathers nap.
Well,
she gets shot in the first one.
she's
sleeps.
taking more
She
bullets.
Gets shot in the second one, disappears. Then she gets shot in the third one, takes like a champ. Or shot in the fifth one, takes
So
like a
she
champ.
gets shot, just, mentally prepares herself to carry on.
She's so used to bullets
Yeah.
to the abdomen region now that it
just
just
takes
like
them.
shakes it off.
She should be dead by now.
Yeah, so should Sydney after 5. I think they both should have been dead.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
I think that's what failed in that movie. They should have
think-
just finished off the whole original cast.
I mean, honestly, my number 5 was, and I wrote it down, as you can see.
Yeah, I haven't seen your paper.
I
yet.
first wrote down Gale Weathers.
Oh, then you
Yeah.
just decided to be
Just-
politically correct.
Yeah, I'll throw in Sydney too.
See,
But
I'm the
my number
opposite.
5 was going to be just Gale Weathers.
I can't show you mine.
Yeah.
I didn't look at your number 1.
Okay.
I literally just looked at your number 5.
Yeah.
I wish I showed you my number 1. Then it would have sucked.
That would have sucked.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's crazy. My number 2 is your number 5.
Yeah. In short, I'm not a big Sidney Prescott fan.
You're not a big.
Although
never been.
Yeah, when we meet Nev Campbell
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks, I will take a picture with her.
Of course.
As far as she knows, I love Sidney Prescott.
Dude, we're Sidney Prescott's biggest fans.
I'm gonna have Sidney Prescott T-shirt. To wear.
I'm gonna bring this in and get her to sign it because I put her at number 2.
Yeah,
He didn't even put her on the list.
but yeah. I've never been a fan. The character was good in the first one.
Sidney Prescott loses her pizzazz.
The more movie goes on, like, yeah, I'm over it. All right, so let's mix it up this time.
Oh, you want me to go one first?
For your number one, final girl of all time. Who is it?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, fans of the J Squared Horror Podcast, please do not judge Jake. Please do not judge me for my number one.
All right.
I thought about it, and it's had a conversation with my cousin Josh, who's one of our longtime fans. We've been only doing this 5 months.
Well, since day one.
Yeah, since day one fans, and I told him this, so he'll probably be excited that I'm sharing it to the world.
Okay.
My number one.
All right.
Favorite final girl
of all time
is, and the Oscar goes to Grace from Ready or Not.
Explain,
dude. Just like your number, what, 2?
Yeah,
your number 2.
Who?
Which was your number 2?
Aaron.
Yeah. From
dude, I just said to you, you're not. I mean, your next remind me of Ready or Not.
Yeah, Ready or Not's better in my opinion.
Okay, all right. Continue on.
Don't be too hateful over here.
Not at all. Continue on.
So, this might be a little biased, but I am a big Samara Weaving fan.
That has nothing to do with the rankings.
I'm a big Samara Weaving fan, so I was excited to see her in a main role other than the babysitter in horror. And, because she's not trained to survive this situation like somebody on his list, I thought that it was one of the most badass final girl things. That she's able to survive this. I don't even know how long they've been doing it. Since they became a family. Since they sold the game board thing. I don't even know. That she was able to survive those odds.
I don't like that.
What?
Every final girl survived without training, besides the one I named, Aaron. That's it.
But she was your number 2. So let me keep going about number 1, man.
All right, go ahead.
Those odds of most of our final girls are against one opponent. She was against an entire family of murderers. And she was in a wedding dress. She was terrified. At first, she thought it was a game, so she didn't even know what was happening. And then, she gets fucked up in this movie.
Yeah, they all do.
I know.
Also, her attire has nothing to do with her survival.
Hey, man, it all plays into it for me. All right, I think about all sorts of moving parts for my number 1.
Moving parts.
All right? All sorts of moving parts for my number 1. I don't know, man. It's her ability to get through that situation, and then the badass ending. She just sits on the front porch, smokes a cigarette, and was like, "Holy shit, that was wild."
Okay, who's your number 2? Sidney Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Damn, bro, all the hate. I feel the hate.
I'm just making
radiating.
I'm just
off
making
of you right
sure
now.
You said Sidney Prescott for 2.
Sidney Prescott and Gail Weathers was 2.
Okay.
Grace was number 1.
All right.
Yeah, man. I loved her in that movie. The way she was able to manipulate the situation and get out of it.
So every final girl has to maneuver through situations.
I know. I just like the way she did it.
And get out of it. But you gave her props, and she did it with no training. None of them have training.
I know, but in the instance of her circumstance. Like, you gave props to number 2 because she had training.
Yeah, but they're all in a circumstance.
I know.
But what makes her any different?
The odds. The number of people against her. And the way she was able to get out of it. Granted, at the end, they all just kind of started popping because of the curse on their family.
Which had nothing to do with her.
I liked it, man.
So the fact that they all just combusted all of a sudden, the fact that she wasn't one of them is why she survived, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
she won the game of hide and seek, even though she didn't technically.
Yeah. So she didn't win the game. Time ran out for them, and she was the only one left. So does that mean that if she would have married him, she would have been in that?
She did marry him.
So how come she didn't combust? Because she's not a blood relative?
And she hadn't. I don't think you're officially one until you win or lose your game.
So you're married.
Yeah, they got married. This is the family's acceptance of her.
Wait, were they married?
Mm-hmm. They got married, and this was after the marriage.
Okay.
The wedding happened there, I think. Yeah, that was their wedding night.
Okay.
You're going to say some cliche thing. At least I spiced it up a bit. And that's my number one. I'm going to stand by it because I love her and I love the way she survived in that movie.
What I'm going to say if number one is not going to be cliche.
Okay. I told you were going to hate it.
If you think it's cliche, guess who it is.
I can't guess who it is.
Yes.
I was going to say... Give me an era.
80s.
Jenny.
Okay. So my number one is Jenny from Friday the 13th, Part 2. Played by Amy Steele, who was also in April Fool's Day.
I guessed it. I win.
Yeah.
I win.
That's cool, yeah. You
really thought I wouldn't guess that?
I am very predictable. I've been told that before. I guess it's right.
That's not true, though, because you're number two. I never in a million years would have guessed.
Yeah, that was almost number one for me. Almost.
And you hate my number one.
But I thought, nah, it's Jenny. I gotta be true to who I am. Anyway, Jenny, the first one to ever defeat Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mentally fucked him up. He was still alive. Wasn't zombie Jason yet.
She didn't kill him, but she won because she survived.
Yeah, she won. She mentally beat him, which probably doesn't take much to do. But she did it.
She was the first one to figure out his mommy issues.
Yeah. And she used that against him.
It's a solid final girl.
Solid pick. She survives the movie. They should have brought her back for a sequel, but they didn't for whatever reason. But, yeah, Jenny, Friday the 13th Part 2 is my number one all-time final girl.
You went classic. I went super not ever heard before.
Yeah.
As a number one.
Yeah, I mean, Jenny is, I would say, a better final girl, but that's neither here nor there. So,
Grace would have tuned up Jason Voorhees.
I don't think so. Not in the least.
All right, what were you going to say?
So, give me one honorable mention that didn't make your top five.
I mean, I gotta go Nancy.
Yeah, I'm very surprised she didn't make it.
Yeah, I gotta go Nancy as like 6.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Because she's a long running, stays the same type final girl.
Yeah.
Whereas like Laurie Strode and some of the others make drastic changes.
Change and alter.
Yeah. Okay. No, I would definitely. How about you? What would be your sub in?
So,
who's on the cuspis?
There are a lot of final girls out there.
Way too many.
Because there have been tons of movies. And so if I had to pick one final girl who unfortunately couldn't make the top 5, it would probably be Alice from the original Friday the 13th. Hear me out. All right? First of all, I know that's my favorite franchise. You probably think that's why I chose her.
My favorite franchise.
Well, one, it's not why I chose her. I chose her because, one, she literally cuts off the head of the killer. Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah.
She makes it all the way through. She goes through and some of the tropes that get most people killed, she smokes in that movie. Mm-hmm. She's playing some type of strip board game or card game. So she's willing to have sex. She's smoking weed in the movie, but still lasts to the end and kills Mrs. Voorhees. So that's why she's my honorable mention.
That's a respectable honorable mention.
Yeah. I put a lot of thought into it in this 10 seconds I had to think about it.
I just went safe. Nancy. I mean, because she is a great final girl.
She is.
She is.
And I feel like she should be on everyone's top 5, I feel like.
Well, that's why we all have opinions
because
and ideas.
When most people would rank top 5 franchises, they include Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street's a top franchise for me.
How can you leave out Nancy and Top Final Girls?
There's different reasons.
I suppose, but...
Yeah.
Nancy, you're on my list.
That's like saying all your favorite kills happen in your favorite franchise. Not necessarily.
That's not the same at all.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Slightly.
Not the same.
Yeah, it depends on if you look for the killer or the survivor. You know.
No, it's not the same. But that was fun though.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to shock you with mine, and I think I shocked you more than you were ready for.
You did actually.
Yeah. And I know that I'm probably alone in thinking this.
Yeah, probably 100%. And I know people are going to mention how I just tend to steer over to Friday the 13th, but I didn't for my number one or my honorable mention. It's just a coincidence they're from the same franchise.
Yeah. Yeah. That is let us know what you guys have for your final favorite Final Girls. We would love to see your guys's. Let us know what you thought about ours. Who's you agreed with more, who's you didn't. Check out our Instagram. It's the J Squared Horror Podcast. We do release new content every single Thursday. You can comment on all of our different forms of social media. We release on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So we're available on all of those. Anything else you want to add to the episode, buddy?
Yeah, I just wanted to dedicate this episode to my mother.
Yes.
Josephine. We're talking about Final Girls. Obviously, my mom did come to mind.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why I'm so invested into horror is to her, and also one of the strongest women that I know. So
yeah. Shout out to you, Josephine. We love having you I love having you as a fan. Obviously, your son does.
Yeah. And as a mom too, you know.
Yeah. I didn't get that. I didn't get a good experience with that part. But I do love having you as a fan. Jake tells me about you all the time. That is awesome that we get to dedicate this episode to such a strong and amazing woman. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's it. I think we're wrapping this thing up.
Yeah.
Cool. Big shout outs to all of our fans and supporters, all you guys that listen to us every single week, that comment along, that share suggestions. We're working on figuring that whole side of this thing out. It's been
working through it.
It's been a lot. We got a lot more than we anticipated. And we've been having a lot of fun with these themed episodes. So if you guys have a couple of those ideas, maybe toss those ones out there.
Yeah.
Big shout outs to Lucky Riggs, who does our intro music and outro. It's the full song after each and every episode.
Top notch.
It is. It fits our podcast almost to a T.
Yeah.
I unfortunately listen to it way more than I should. And big shout out to Jeff Balance, who did all of our design work. As you see this amazing sign behind us. It is a pure beauty. It is ours. I don't know if you can see my hat, but it's also J Squared Out. I posted on Instagram. We do have some stickers available. It's a limited supply, but if you guys want anything, just DM or comment if you guys want to purchase some stickers. We'd love to see our stickers around town. That would be awesome.
It would be. I mean, I see him on my car.
Yeah, I see him on my car too.
And that's about it.
If I pass Jake on the road, I might see another one. So yeah, just thank you guys so much. We love being able to do this every single week. This is the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And you guys have a great week.